Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Huck. Today I am doing a review for The Monsters of Verity Duology by Victoria Schwab. The first book is The Savage Song and the second is Our Dark Duet. So this series takes place in a fictional city that has been separated into the north side and the south side. The north side is controlled by Harkness, who uses monsters in order to control the people. So he essentially offers people safety from these monsters if they pay him. And then the south side is controlled by another group who are fighting against those monsters. Now, these monsters exist in this world because of acts of violence. In this world, when somebody does something evil, usually in this case it is murder, that sin that they put into the world becomes a monster. And there are three different kinds of monsters in this world that all have kind of different abilities. One of them is kind of like vampires and they drink blood. One of them eats flesh, and one of them eats souls. And the ones who eat souls are the most rare type of these monsters. The main characters that we're following two perspectives. One is Kate Harkness, whose father rules the north side, and the other is August. And August is part of the group that is trying to fight against these monsters and protect people from them. Kate is trying to prove herself to her father by following in his footsteps, and August is given a special assignment to get close to Kate to find out more about her and her father and their plans. But the two of them become unlikely allies as they realize that there are bigger, badder things going on in this city and larger, meaner monsters than they knew about. So first of all, I want to talk about the world. We very much get thrust into this world without much information. The magic system of this world, or the process by which these monsters are created, is not very well explained, but in this world the characters don't even know how it works. So that is something that I personally as a reader would have liked more information about. How are these monsters created? Why are they here? But even the characters in this world don't know how that works. So we only know as much as the characters know. To some extent, I feel like that's kind of an easy way of just not having to explain things that could have had at least some explanation. But there is that reason that we only know as much as the characters know, and they acknowledge that they don't even really know how it works or why they're there. And because of that, I ended up being very confused about this world and magic and just what was going on, because I felt like I didn't really have a good grasp on it. I feel like I'm somebody who's pretty comfortable being dropped into the middle of a magical world, but still this felt very underexplained, so I was very confused for quite a bit of it, and it moves pretty quickly. One of the things though that I did like about this world is I think you do get a really good feel for the city. You get a real feel for the atmosphere, and you can really feel like you're there and you understand what the city feels like, even if you don't understand how it works. So as I said, we're following two main characters, Kate and August. Kate is kind of the standard Victoria Schwab female character, or the strong female character that Victoria Schwab likes to write, whose main personality trait is just, I'm badass. That's it. And that's not my favorite kind of character. I just don't find that very engaging. I find it kind of a shallow character. I didn't hate her, I didn't dislike her as much as I've disliked some other characters by Victoria Schwab, but I didn't think that she was an especially well-developed character either. Although her character does get some character development over the course of the series, but again, since her character is pretty surface level through most of it, the development that does happen doesn't really feel earned because we don't get to see a lot of it. She just kind of inexplicably changes. I thought August's character was interesting and he had a lot of potential. There were a lot of questions that they could have delved into. They could have gone into things about nurture versus nature, moral choices, identity, and really like dive into that inner conflict that he had, because he did seem like a character who had a lot of inner conflict, and I think that he had potential for more, and I would have really loved to see more of that, because that's the kind of thing that I think is interesting. But again, it stayed a little more surface level. It didn't go as deep as it could have into those like issues of inner conflict, and because of that, when things that were meant to be like big emotional climaxes of the story happened, they just didn't have that emotional payoff, because the characters felt kind of surface level, because we didn't get to know them as deeply, because we didn't see those inner conflicts or that inner development or process. So I had fun reading these, but I think that they definitely could have been better and could have had more of that emotional payoff if we had gotten more in-depth into those characters. But as I said, I did have a really fun time reading these. I always have a fun time reading Victoria Schwab's books. I enjoy her writing. There's something about it that is very easy to read. Her books are really fast-paced, and I get sucked in really easily. So even though there are things that I think could have been done better about this, I had a lot of fun reading these. I burned through them really quickly. Each of these books, I think I read this one in a day and this one in like a day and a half. So I read these pretty quick, and I just had a really fun time with them. So I do think that they are worth reading. I think they're definitely enjoyable, but you kind of have to go in with the right mindset, not really expecting too much depth or development or world building or any of that, and just really go along for the ride, because it is a fast-paced, exciting, fun book or series. I gave each of these books 4 out of 5 stars. So that is all for my review of the Monsters of Verity duology by Victoria Schwab. Let me know in the comments if you have read these, if you agree or disagree, what you thought of this series. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, bye!